Today I'll be continuing our dream series. The first part was dream activators, and the second part, which I'll be speaking about today, is dream obstructors. Now, a dream is an aspiration, a desire, an ambition, or a target. Having a dream means that you know exactly what you want, and dreams can become goals, goals can become actions, and actions can become achievements. Now, why do some people not achieve their dreams? That is exactly what I want to find out today. Now, I'll be speaking about 5 dream obstructors. The first one is fear. Fear has been described as a negative emotion that makes us believe that we're in danger. And because it is an emotion, it means that it is not necessarily real. However, fear is a natural human instinct that actually helps us to survive and protect ourselves. The problem is fear can deter you from achieving your dreams. Now, what are many people are afraid of? People are afraid of making mistakes, of the unknown, of what people will say, of what will happen or not happen. And there's also the fear of failure, which is also known as etiquephobia. Nothing kills dreams like fear. You know, the reason some people are successful and others are not is that successful people have chosen to actually thrive in spite of their fear. They decide to do the very thing that scares them. The world that we're in today has conditioned us to actually focus our attention on what others think or what people say instead of on who we really are, our identity. Now, who you really are is entrenched in your distinctiveness. In Disney's blockbuster film The Lion King, Simba, the heir of the throne, had to self-exile because of his wicked uncle Scar, until a time when he was needed back because the people wanted to be delivered from his uncle's ruthless rule. Now, Simba did not want to go back to his kingdom because he was afraid. He did not even feel like a lion anymore. He was now eating worms with his new friends and doing what they were doing, and he was comfortable. And there was a pivotal moment in Simba's life though. There was a day when he was looking at his reflection in the water and seeing himself. But Rafiki said to him, "Simba, your father is waiting for you. Do you see him?" And Simba could not see his father. All he was seeing is his own reflection in the water. And Rafiki said, "Look again, for he lives in you." And the moment that Simba was able to see his father in him, he heard his father's voice. And his father said to him, "Simba, go and take your place in the circle of life. Remember who you are, the one true king." And until Simba could say who he was asked, "Who are you?" Until he could say, "I am Simba, son of Mufasa," he could not reclaim his throne. But the moment that Simba said, "I am Simba, son of Mufasa," his inadequacies and weaknesses evaporated, and Simba was able to go back and reclaim his throne. And I'd like to ask you, who are you? Until you're able to pinpoint a God-given identity, like Simba, look again and keep looking. Now, who am I? I am a child of God. I am a queen, and my potential is limitless because greatness is my sovereign heritage. Until you come to terms with who you are, you cannot be who you were meant to be. Until you connect with your identity, your power will not manifest. And the power has always been in you. You remember when you first walked, you stood up and you actually started walking, not caring if your legs could carry you, not caring what people will say. You fell and then you stood up and you tried again. It was shaky at first, but you kept trying, you kept doing it. And because you were just simply tired of crawling, you stuck to the plan. You can still stick to the plan today. You can actually start. It may be shaky at first. Yes, it doesn't have to be perfect, but when you keep working at it, like when you were a kid, guess what? At some point, you walked. And if you keep going at it, keep doing it, you'll be getting closer and closer and closer to your dream. And I tell you, one day, you'll just not be walking, you'll be running, and you look back and say, I did it. So don't stop walking, just keep moving. Keep going towards your goal, and like Simba, one day you'll be able to roar again, and you'll be able to say, I am Simba, son of Mufasa. The next dream obstructor is procrastination. Now, procrastination actually robs you of your time and leaves a trail of regret. What you do today is what will become tomorrow's outcome. You cannot control your life if you cannot control your time. And leaving things to the last minute actually leads to inefficiency. Now, the one thing that God has given all men equally is time. Time is value. That is why you actually give your time in exchange for money. If you want something done, give it to a busy person. And that's because people who are busy, they know that they have to kind of schedule everything. And when you begin to schedule and, put things in perspective, you'll see that you have more time. But if you just let things happen, before you know it, the day is over and you haven't achieved much, you don't get what you want or what you think you deserve. Instead, you get exactly what you work for, what you focus on, what you take action upon every single day. The next dream obstructor is wrong association. People actually have a lot of influence over our lives, our mindset, our perspective on life, and even our perception about ourselves. That is why it's important to surround yourself with the right people. People that will actually encourage you and cheer you up as you actually take this journey towards your destiny and achieving your full potential. The company you keep could be fuel for your journey or a clock to your wheel of success. Sometimes even your family members, friends, and people that love you and people that you love could actually be deterring you from your destiny. Someone once said that you cannot hang with chickens and expect to soar like an eagle. We used to have a friend that actually wanted to go to South Sudan as a missionary. He actually had a calling to go to South Sudan, and he said, I'm going to propose to my fiancée this way. I will say to her, will you follow me to the Sudan? And if she says yes, then I'll know she's the one. And I said, why? And he said, because your spouse is supposed to be your destiny helper. Now, if you're a young person out there who is not yet married, actually ask yourself, this person I'm going to marry, is it going to be my destiny helper? Is this person going to help me? Are they supporting me right now? And if you're actually already married and your spouse is a dream obstructor, you have to try and make them understand that achieving your dreams will make you a better wife, a better mom, and it will actually give you the fulfillment and the joy that you actually need to be able to be stable enough to do some of the other things that you need to do. And I tell you, when you're living in your purpose, all the other things that you do, you actually do them with more joy because you're kind of fulfilled. There's something, divine about keying in and actually doing the thing that God brought you to this world to do. Whenever you're doing those things, you find out that you get more energy, you're energized, you're passionate, and you're kind of joyful, and that joy spills over to everything else that you do. Avoid relationships that drain you of your energy. Toxic relationships that actually make you not to be your best self. Now, if you have a relationship and you're always trying to suppress yourself in order to please someone, run. And the other group of people that you need to run away from are negative people. Negativity is like a disease that spreads very fast. So if you surround yourself with negative people, sometimes you begin to see things like them. And that's why, if you're going somewhere and you have a mission, you just have to make sure that you're not only positive, you're listening to positive things, you're watching positive things, and you're also speaking positively. But when you have negative people around you, sometimes it could even just be that you just said something, positive, and they said something else that just cancels everything you just said. And before you know what's happening, you're actually with them, you're agreeing with them subconsciously, and it begins to affect your ability to achieve your dream. The next dream obstructor is distraction. Now, distraction has become a normal part of today's world. I mean, social media has actually inundated our lives with so much information. You're actually in the middle of an important project. All of a sudden, you get a notification. You try to check on it, then you get a text message. Then, it's a lot. It's so hard to get people's attention these days. Discipline is a very important ingredient for success in today's world. A study showed that 93% of employees use social media during work hours. You know what that means when you're using social media during your office hours? It means you're stealing time from the company. Time lost can never be regained. The seconds become minutes, the minutes become hours, the hours become years, and one day you'll be like, where did my life go? I mean, the distraction level is so high, I don't even know what's gonna happen soon. I've actually seen a groom at his wedding and he could not get off his phone. He was on his phone on his wedding day. How distracted can you be? It is important that we actually are intentional about how we use our time and say enough is enough to the distractions and focus. Because without focus, I'm telling you, we cannot achieve much and our level of productivity will be low. So distraction is definitely a very big dream obstructor. The next dream obstructor is complacency. Now, complacency is a feeling of self-satisfaction when accompanied with the obliviousness of deficiency. It has been said that success leads to complacency and complacency leads to failure. Maintaining success is another thing altogether, and that requires constant innovation, evolution, and renovation. So you have to keep taking stock, repairing, changing, moving things around, and actually you have to keep moving because stagnancy is not a normal feature of life. Stagnancy is something that happens when you're no longer here. As long as you're here, you have to keep moving forward. If you're not moving forward, you're actually moving backwards. That's just how simple it is. A Tom Stanley study shows that 80% of millionaires in the United States of America are first-generation millionaires, meaning that their families were not rich. And 20% of millionaires are from rich homes, so people were also millionaires. And what this shows is that, the 20% of the people, the reason it's only 20% is because of complacency. But the first generation people worked for it. And it shows that they actually made something from nothing. You can also make something from nothing. There's a price to pay for success. You have to be ready to have the toughness to endure short-term pain so that you can reap long-term gain. I know that these are trying times and a lot of people have lost their jobs and so many people are actually going to have to close their businesses and do something different. But do not be afraid. Look inside. You have the answers in you. You have the power in you. You can make it through this time. Someone said that faith is a strong conviction that despair will not have the last word. Let despair not have the last word in your life. Fight. Be daring. Do things that you've never done. There was a lady who lost her job and she went to her pastor and the pastor said, oh, you lost your job? Okay, so why don't you do this? You bake very good cookies. You brought some to my office. Why don't you bake some? Take these cookies to your former office and share it with everyone. And she did that. These folks love the cookies so much so that the hotel started ordering her cookies. And in the first week, 25 people ordered cookies from her. And within 2 years, she actually had a factory and over 100 employees and was a millionaire. Sometimes life throws you things to actually help you to look inward because you already have the answers in you. My sincere prayer for you is that God will give you the serenity to accept the things you cannot change, the courage to change the things you can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
Subscribe to this page for more inspirational videos from Patricia Bebiamawa.